Hey, what is up, guys? It's Cam here. Today, we're going to be ranking 10 more Shudder films that I've seen on Shudder. Some of these are originals, some of these aren't. Some of these I haven't even seen off of Shudder. I've seen them on other channels, but they happen to be on Shudder. But these are 10 more Shudder films that I'm going to be ranking today from worst to best. And yeah, let's get into it. Alright guys, I also forgot to mention in the intro that I actually have a scratchy voice, and you can probably tell in this video. It's because I just got over a sickness, so just bear with me on that. But anyways, let's get into the ranking. Alright, first up we have Late Night with the Devil. I've talked so many times about this movie over and over again in different videos. I'm kind of done talking about it because it's not my favorite of the movies that are on this list at all. It actually was probably one of the worst movies I saw of 2024, and I know it's a highly praised movie. I just didn't care for it. I didn't care for it at all. I felt like if you have a exorcism, devil talking to the devil type movie, where it's talking with other entities out in a different realm, I feel like you should do it in a better way. Now, I will give this movie one thing. It did have a very unique aspect to it with a whole late night show. I like that. I like that a lot. But I just didn't like the story. I felt like they didn't do very much with it. So this one's probably, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible at all. I think it's going to go into C. It just wasn't, it was worse than mid. It wasn't a very good movie. But I don't think it's D tier. All right, next up we have Vesper. And this movie I've actually not talked about at all, so I'm going to be talking about this one for a little while. I actually really enjoyed this movie. There were a few cons I had with it, but it's really not the movie's fault, and I'll talk about that. This movie I was actually surprised to see on Shudder too, because it's a full-on sci-fi. It's not even horror, and I feel like almost everything on Shudder is horror. So it was very cool to see a new kind of genre in Shudder. So this one was a really good movie. I felt like it was very well done. I liked the story. And the only con I had with this movie was I felt like, I'm not going to spoil anything, by the way, but I felt like at the end they were going a completely cool way. Like it was really going to be a really hyped area where they were going to go into for the very end. And then they completely throw a curveball at you and take it to a whole different place at like a completely different spot where you wouldn't even expect it. And it wasn't a very cool place either. I felt like the way they were going to plan on going was a way better way of finishing out the movie. But my theory on why they went a different way is because they probably didn't, with the way they were planning or the way they were looking like they were going to go, if they did end up going that way, it would have costed a lot more money and it would have been a way longer movie. But I feel like that's the reason why they didn't want to spend all that money. And they didn't want to have an extra lengthy movie. But I felt like overall this movie was good. I probably will. I also love the soundtrack of this movie, to mention. I love the soundtrack of this movie. It felt very along with the vibes of this movie. It went hand in hand with that. So I'm going to go to A for this one. This was a very good movie. I don't think it's S tier. I don't think it's that good, but it's probably an A tier. All right, Azrael. Now, this one was a very good movie. I was actually surprised I would like this movie, or I ended up liking it, because it doesn't have any dialogue. And knowing me, I am very, very impatient with those types of movies. I don't like when there's no dialogue hardly, but this one plays it off very well. I loved the action in this movie, the whole story. Even with no dialogue, they played it off very well, and I really like that. Hold on, let me scroll down. I really like this movie a lot, and I think this one's probably going to go also into A, but I don't know if I should put it into before Vesper or after Vesper. I'm not quite sure. I think, honestly, I feel like Vesper was more memorable to me than Azrael, so therefore I'm going to put it behind, but they are very close with each other. I really enjoyed both of these movies. All right. And now on to a hot take I'm going to give for this one. The Dark and the Wicked. Now, when I first started looking at this movie, like looking at the ratings and all that, they were off the charts good. Like I thought this movie couldn't even have a chance of being bad for me. But I was wrong. I did not care for this movie in the slightest. I mean, it brings up this eerie vibe the entire movie, and then it makes us look like there's going to be this big thing that happens at the end, and it doesn't happen. They just ended off with the most underwhelming thing ever, and it's just I did not care for this movie at all. I don't get people's likings for this movie. I will give it one thing: it's the eeriness and all that. But even then, like it wasn't a good movie. The story sucked, and it wasn't. The ending really pissed me off with the whole making it look like it'd be this really cool thing, and then they don't do it, and they just make it the most underwhelming thing ever. So yeah, I think this one's probably going to be one of the worst ones on this list for me personally. And I know a lot of people like it, which is crazy to me, but, this one's going to go into D tier for me. I did not care for that movie at all. It didn't have anything unique to it at all, really, honestly. I didn't care for it in the slightest. I did not like it. All right, next up we have The Babadook. Now, this one is one of the ones I was talking about in the intro where I didn't see this off of Shudder. I don't remember. I think I saw it off of Max. So this movie is so good. And I remember my dad told me he didn't think I would like it, but I love this movie. It's one of the best movies I've seen in the last few decades that are horror. More modern horror movies are usually not as good, but there are a lot of good ones. But this one is one of the few that I really enjoyed a lot. It brings so much to the table of horror. And I just thought this one creeped the hell out of me. So, let me see. I think this one's probably going to be the best one on this list. I'm not going to say out of all these, but so far it's the best one we have, definitely. And I think it's definitely going to go into S tier. It's a classic in terms of recent modern horror movies. It's a really, really good movie, and I couldn't recommend that one enough. It's so dark and good. And the acting in this movie is phenomenal. Like, I thought everyone did phenomenal in this movie. The kid even did very good, was annoying the hell out of us. But, yeah, everyone in this movie did great. It was a phenomenal movie. Really recommend this one if you guys haven't seen it yet. All right. And next up, we have You'll Never Find Me. Now, this one I didn't really care for. I felt like this was a very forgettable movie. I felt like it didn't really bring much to the table. I felt like it was trying to be scary, kind of like how I said in Caveat with my last 10 Shudder movies. Caveat was kind of like this, but not anywhere near the same story. But in terms of being scary, they both try to be scary, but they aren't. I feel like they try too hard to be scary, and then they just don't end up being that way. So, therefore, and I just really felt like the story of this movie wasn't very good. I felt like they had a lot of or they could have gone other different ways, possibly, but it was just an underwhelming movie to me. I think this one's probably going to go also D. I didn't care for it. I think it's also going to go before Dark and the Wicked because I think it was better than that one. But yeah, The Dark and the Wicked is probably the worst one we're going to have on this list because I just really did not like that movie. It really pissed me off with the whole ending and everything. But the You'll Never Find Me had some aspects to it that I could enjoy. It just didn't end up being a very good movie overall for me. All right. Last Straw is up next. This one was a very good movie. I think a lot of people hate on this movie for some reasons that I don't agree with. I felt like the dialogue, I get, was a little cringy in some parts, but that doesn't mean it's an overall bad movie. I actually kind of liked I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was very similar to The Strangers, but had a different take on it, and actually could have been a little better than The Strangers in a way, because in The Strangers, I watched that, and I felt like the people were super dumb in that movie, and they kind of just made the stupidest mistakes ever in that situation. But the Last Straw I liked because it brought a huge plot twist to me. I was not expecting the plot twist in this movie at all. And I really liked a lot of the parts of it. I liked the adventure it took me on. So I do think I'm going to put this one in B just because I don't think it's on any of these levels. But it was overall, I don't even think it was mid, even though it's in the middle of this tier list. I think it was a good movie. I just don't think it's going to go into A in terms of my standards. I don't think it deserves that. But overall, it wasn't a very mid movie. It was a good movie. It was a good one. All right, Mayhem. Now this one I thought was very mid. Now, I love what's his name? Stephen Young. I think that's his name. He's in The Walking Dead, and I love Glenn, the character Glenn in that whole show. He as an actor is phenomenal. And Samara Weaving is also an Azrael, and I liked her in that. So I also liked her character. But I felt like it was just kind of a mid movie overall. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was just mid. I liked the idea of it. I liked the whole comedy kind of or comedy action type of take on a virus and how everyone's going crazy and a virus and they're quarantined in a building and he gets revenge on his bosses and all that. But there was one aspect of this movie that I didn't care for, and it's why would they quarantine a whole work building place or a whole uh, branch of a workplace? Why would they quarantine them without any help, knowing that they're just going to go crazy and kill each other in that whole building? I feel like that wasn't very realistic. But then again, this movie was kind of crazy and comedy and just not really realistic at all. But it was a good movie. I liked it. It was just mid to me. I don't know what to think about this movie. I think this one was worse than The Last Straw. And it's probably also going to go to B because that one truly is mid to me. It was just kind of forgettable to me. All right, now we have VHS 94. Now, I actually saw this one a very long time ago, and I totally forgot about it. That it was even on, I didn't forget about the movie itself, but I forgot that it was on Shudder. And this movie was so creepy. I remember the reason I even watched this movie, I think this might be actually the first Shudder movie I've ever seen. But the reason I watched this movie was because I saw a YouTube video with Ratman, and that creeped me out. I was like, oh man, I have to watch this whole thing. So I watched the whole movie, and it actually was pretty good. I liked the whole found footage stuff. I liked how they made 3 different kind of events and 3 different stories, all that they're completely different, but they're in this VHS series. But they're all like 3 different found footage tapes throughout this movie, and all 3 of them do a very, very good job at creeping you out. Actually, no, there were 4 of them. There were 4 tapes, and all 4 of them did a very good job at creeping you out. There were 4 of them. Yeah, 4 of them. Ratman. Then they had a funeral home ghost type thing, and then they had a evil doctor kind of thing, like turning people into robots. Kind of reminded me of the Outlast series, like Outlast doctors and all that. And then they had a one with a cult leader, a cult group with vampires and all that. Overall, this movie was pretty good. I remember it being very memorable, especially with the Ratman part. That part was still by far the best part of the whole movie. I think this one's probably going to go into A, but it's probably going to go in the very end of A. Yeah, I think that's where it should go. I think it was a very good movie. I felt like it would creep me out pretty well. All right, now the last but not least movie, we have Possum. And this movie, I have some mixed feelings for. First off, this movie I thought this movie poster was so cool, the spider coming out of the bag. And I thought this would be a really scary movie just looking at that poster. And it turned out to be creepy and very, very eerie. And it turned out to be scary in some parts. But the story is what really turned it off for me. So it starts out with those. Actually, almost the entire movie, you're just sitting there wondering what the heck is happening. All these different images are happening, and you have no idea where to put the puzzle pieces. You don't know what the heck is going on until the very last 10 minutes when they actually explain everything. And it's like, I wish I felt like they took too long to get to the point. Why do I spend almost the whole entire movie just wondering what's going on and kind of just confused? It's not like where you're trying to it's like a foreshadowing thing where you're like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. It's like you really don't even have a clue, and it's kind of boring at the whole point because it's like you don't know what really is going on at all. You're confused. And then the last 10 minutes, they explain everything, and I'm like, it's cool and all, but they should have gotten to the point faster. So, therefore, I'm really disappointed to put this movie into B, but I'm going to because that whole story thing really set me off on it. But I will give it the creepy, eerie vibes. That really was cool. I loved the spider puppet thing that they have, and the face creeped me the heck out. There were a lot of scenes that were scary in this movie, but the story behind them I didn't understand. I was very confused at. when they were happening. And that's what really turned it off for me. So therefore, I'm going to probably put this into, I'm probably going to put it above Mayhem. Yeah, I'm probably going to put it in the middle of B. I think that's where it goes. Yep. But anyways, guys, this is probably going to be my ranking. Yeah, this is actually a really good ranking for all these movies. Now I'm looking at it over again. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys don't, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And but anyways, guys, this is my ranking for all these movies on Shudder. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Shudder has been a very good channel for me. I intend on watching more of these movies off of Shudder. There are a lot more that I have to watch. If you guys have any other kind of different rankings or opinions on any of these movies, don't be shy. Put them in the comments below. I love to see you guys' rankings and opinions on these movies. I don't really like just looking at my own opinion. I like seeing what you guys have to offer and what your thoughts are on these things. So yeah, don't forget to comment on whatever you want to comment on in my videos and tell me your thoughts on these movies. I mean, I'm not a full-on movie to critique. You guys have opinions too, so I'd love to see you guys' opinions. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe and push that little bell on the side for notifications. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.